centuries, humans have turned to cold for healing, recovery, and relief. This practice, known as cryotherapy, involves applying cold in various forms, ice, water, or air, to the body. The main goal is to remove heat, lower tissue temperatures, and influence blood flow, leading to benefits like pain relief and a sense of well-being. Today, cryotherapy is widely used in sports, medicine, and wellness, but its roots stretch deep into history. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating journey of cryotherapy, from ancient traditions to cutting-edge science, and look ahead to what the future holds for cold-based therapies. Cryotherapy is an umbrella term for therapeutic processes that use cold temperatures to benefit the body. Whether it's a bag of ice, a cold water bath, or exposure to freezing air, the principle is the same: withdraw heat to trigger physiological changes. These changes can slow nerve conduction, reduce inflammation, and provide pain relief. Over time, the methods have evolved, but the core idea remains unchanged. Understanding cryotherapy's mechanisms helps us appreciate its enduring popularity and guides us in applying it safely and effectively. The story of cryotherapy begins thousands of years ago. Ancient civilizations, including the Greeks, recognized the healing power of cold. Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, advocated for water therapy to restore energy and treat ailments. He believed that water could cure almost anything, and his writings mention the use of ice and snow for reducing swelling. These early insights laid the foundation for centuries of cold-based treatments, showing that the quest for recovery and relief is as old as civilization itself. Cold water immersion, or CWI, has a rich history dating back to 3500 BC. Ancient texts like the Edwin Smith Papyrus reference the use of cold for healing. The Greeks used cold water not just for therapy, but also for relaxation and social gatherings. Roman physicians, such as Claudius Galen, recommended cold baths for treating fevers. Over time, these practices evolved, but the core belief in the restorative power of cold water remained strong, influencing generations of healers and athletes. Centuries passed, scientific curiosity about cold water immersion grew. In the 18th and 19th centuries, figures like James Curry used cold water to treat fevers and studied its effects on body temperature and physiology. By the 20th century, researchers like Edgar Hinz Jr. developed tests to measure blood pressure responses to cold, deepening our understanding of how the body reacts. These scientific milestones paved the way for modern protocols and safety guidelines in cold water therapy. In the 1960s, cold water immersion began to be studied for its effects on post-exercise recovery. Researchers explored how different temperatures, durations, and depths could optimize recovery for athletes. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, CWI became a staple in sports science, with numerous studies confirming its benefits for reducing muscle soreness and speeding up recovery. Today, protocols recommend immersions of 10-15 minutes at 10-15 degrees C for effective results. This remains one of the most traditional forms of cryotherapy. In the early 19th century, surgeons like Baron Dominique Larrey used ice and snow for painless amputations. Later, James Arnott pioneered the use of crushed ice to freeze tumors, laying the groundwork for cryosurgery. By the 1960s, ice was widely recommended for treating musculoskeletal injuries, and its ability to lower tissue temperature became central to its therapeutic value. Effectiveness of ice therapy lies in its ability to rapidly reduce skin and muscle temperatures. Studies in the mid-20th century showed that ice packs could lower skin temperature by up to 6 degrees C, and deeper muscle cooling was linked to slower metabolism and reduced oxygen demand after injury. These findings influenced protocols for injury management and even organ preservation, highlighting the broad impact of ice-based therapies. In the 1970s, research focused on how ice could raise pain thresholds and provide analgesia. Ice massage was shown to significantly reduce pain sensation by lowering skin temperature. The RICE protocol rest, ice, compression, elevation became a standard for acute sports injuries. Over time, variations like Price and Peace and Love emerged, reflecting evolving views on injury care. While ice remains popular, recent studies encourage careful, individualized use. Whole-body cryotherapy, WBC, is a newer technique that exposes the body to extremely cold air, often below -100 degrees C, for short periods. First developed in Japan in the late 1970s for treating arthritis, WBC quickly spread to Europe and later to the sports world. Athletes in rugby and American football adopted WBC for its potential to reduce inflammation and speed up recovery. Portable and partial-body cryotherapy cabins have made these treatments more accessible, but safety and efficacy continue to be studied. As cryotherapy gained popularity, new devices emerged to make treatments more convenient and portable. Cryopneumatic devices combine cold and compression, delivering chilled fluids to injured areas for extended periods. Originally used after surgeries, these devices are now favored by athletes for their ease of use and consistent pain relief. However, scientific evidence for their effectiveness in accelerating recovery is still limited. and more research is needed. Phase change materials, PCM, represent a modern leap in cryotherapy. Unlike traditional ice or gel packs, PCM can absorb large amounts of heat at a constant temperature, allowing for longer and safer cooling sessions. Studies show that PCM cooling can accelerate recovery of muscle strength and reduce soreness after exercise. These materials are especially promising for athletes, as they can be applied for hours without risk of tissue damage, but their full potential is still being explored. So many cryotherapy options available, choosing the right method depends on the desired outcome, the individual, and the situation. Factors like temperature, duration, and area of application all influence effectiveness. For example, ice has a higher thermal conductivity than water or air, but water and air can cover larger surface areas. Practitioners must consider these variables to ensure safe and effective treatment, especially as new technologies emerge. Recent expert opinions stress the need for individualized and periodized cryotherapy strategies. Factors like the athlete's goals, training schedule, and even environmental conditions should guide the choice and timing of cold therapies. While cryotherapy can enhance endurance adaptations, it may dampen muscle growth if used inappropriately. This highlights the importance of tailoring recovery strategies to each person's unique needs and circumstances. Cryotherapy has come a long way, from ancient water baths to high-tech devices and materials. As research continues, we're learning more about how to maximize its benefits while minimizing risks. The future will likely bring even more personalized, effective, and accessible cold therapies. What remains unchanged is the enduring belief in the power of cold to heal, recover, and enhance well-being, a belief that has stood the test of time and continues to inspire innovation.